besties, welcome back to the studio. Today I wanted to do a quick and easy project, but a project that nonetheless is going to have a major impact. We're talking night and day changes. Not all projects have to be completely over the top, and after coming off of a months-long project that almost broke me, I'm welcoming something fast and easy. Now I got this table a couple years back at the 4-H fair and I only paid $8 for it. It's antique, it's constructed of pine, and it is a bit too primitive looking for me. It's actually a sad little antique just begging for a glow up, so we're gonna oblige. To start, I'm gonna clean the piece down with my Dixie Belle White Lightning, and then I'm gonna rinse it off real good before going in with a scuff sand to just raise that grain so it can accept the primer we're gonna put on.
We're going to be using two different primers on this project, a gray one on the body and a white one on the top. Now, the gray primer is my go-to primer because it brings out the full richness and the depth of the final color, no matter what that color is, including white. It is a serious game changer in this business. And the top primer is a white because we're going to be layering decoupage over it, and for that you need to have a light background so that you can bring out all the details in your print. I'm going to get 2 coats on, and then I'm going to let it sit and cure. Not dry, but cure. I turned the table over and noticed that it kind of looked like a dog might have been chewing on one of the legs, so I busted out my Bondo so I could do a little bit of repair work on this. Kind of straightforward, really easy. I just need to replace what's missing, so I'm going to get it on there in the basic shape I'm going for, and then I'm going to let it cure. It only seemed fitting to go with a Dixie Belle shade since the decoupage paper is also Dixie Belle. So, pulling from their palette, I'm going to go with Yankee Blue, and I'm going to get 2 coats all over this piece, with the exception of the area we just repaired. Now, I'm okay with doing it this way because this is a solid color and you won't see the interruption of painting this at a later time. You have to be very careful when you choose to do that because there are some instances where if you stop and pick up later, you will actually notice it. But thankfully for this particular area and this particular process right now, we're not gonna. Once that paint has really set up good, it's time to add my couture detail to the top of this table. I have been begging Scott for a Highland cow for years, and he just absolutely keeps saying no, so this is probably as close to one as I'm going to get, and this paper is actually perfect for the top of this table. It fits it really well. So I prepared my paper by steaming it flat, and now I'm going to position it on the top. Then using a brush and water, I am going to draw some lines on there so I can easily tear it down with giving me that beautiful feathered edge. Then using my medium, I'm going to get this baby on the top of this table.
Change is constant, learning to flow. All the unknown, lemons thrown. May look different from what you've dreamed. Colors and contrast making it.
Once my bottom layer had completely dried, I went back over the top of the print with a liberal amount of my medium using a crosshatch pattern. I like the crosshatch pattern because it helps it look like it's like an oil painting and not necessarily a decoupage tissue paper, which is one of the looks I like. And once I have this whole piece covered, I'm just going to let everything sit and cure for the night, and we're going to come back at this tomorrow and finish it up. There's not too much left to it, but this table is still headed for some major transformations. The next morning, I got right to work on that leg, protecting the top, of course, with a nice cushioned base for it to sit on. But I just shaped up that Bondo real quick for that leg repair. And then I took a superfine sanding pad and I went around the edges of the decoupage and I just knocked them down. They were a little rough. Sometimes that can happen. It's no big deal. You just sand it with a very high grit sanding pad and it'll bring it right back to a nice, flat, smooth, but a silky surface. And now it's time to get the first layer of the blend on this piece. And remember, it's not about having faith in what it looks like now. It's trusting the process to know that it's going to come out amazing. Don't even pay attention to what it looks like now. It's not supposed to look good. And now that the first layer is ass-tastically covered, we are going to let it sit and cure. It is very important to really let the paint sit and cure before you go on it with a wet medium. If it's just dry, you can actually risk activating the paint, which will pull it back up. And it just causes this really big aggravating circle that I'm certainly not going to get trapped into. So I'll be back as soon as it's cured. He's looking cute though. It's the next morning and it's time to get to work on layer 2 of this beautiful blend. This one's definitely going to be much more intentional than the first. I'm going to focus on the background of the paper and recreate those same blends all around the edges. And while I'm busy blending, I'm going to let you guys in on one of my little secrets in life. Instead of paying hundreds of dollars for a therapist, I get my therapy right here in my studio. There is just something that I can't explain, to be honest, about having that brush in my hand on a good day or on a bad day or a sad day and creating something from nothing, taking a vision and an idea and planting it, growing it, nurturing it throughout the day or the time and making it happen is all the therapy in the world that I need. And I came from a very financial background. I was a portfolio manager for a very long time. I made a very good income, and I've never been more miserable in my life than I was at that job. And doing this is just something so incredibly freeing and special, and I consider myself to be incredibly lucky that I get to wake up every day, walk a few hundred feet into the back area, into my very own studio, and create anything that I want to. There's just nothing like that in the world. I love being a furniture alchemist. I really do. What's one thing in life you're incredibly passionate about? Drop a comment down below and let's get to know each other better. While layer 2 is setting up, I'm going to bring this piece outside and I'm going to spray the body with some poly spray. I need to get a coat of something slick and shiny on there, so I'm going to use a satin finish because I intend to go over this with a glaze. This blue is a beautiful blue. I love this Yankee Blue shade by Dixie Belle, but it's a bit too new for such a very old table.
I do think that the Yankee Blue is a very pretty blue on the base, but I feel like the top of this has more of a dark academia flair to it with all of those deep colors of gray and black and brown. I want to give this finish more of an antique vibe, you know what I mean? So I am going to use my go-to antiquing medium, which is my Rust-Oleum glaze. I love this stuff. I use it all the time, as a lot of you know. And I am going to apply it all over the base. And then I am going to go over this with my broom and create the striations and just give it character. It's all about the character and manipulating it to give it that aged antique finish. This looks too new. And this table is definitely not new. This thing's so old it doesn't even have a nail in it. Every part of this is put together using nothing but wood. It's amazing craftsmanship. And I don't want to have it looking brand spanking new with this gorgeous Yankee Blue. That will be the last thing that we get to do on this table for the night because that glaze will have to sit and cure. It's gonna look good though. We just have a few more things to do to this piece to finish it up and it is totally done. It seems a lot longer than it took because there's a lot of drying time and curing time in between your coats and in between processes. But the reality of it was a really quick and cute project. I ordered some amazing hardware from Amazon. I wanted to kind of go with that leather luggage handle look, so that's what I chose with this gorgeous antique kind of brass hardware on it. I went with a kind of red-brown leather because I wanted it to pop off of the dark body, which some of you might be saying, it's so dark. Yes, it is. The whole thing is completely cohesive like one unit. I didn't want the top to be one thing and the base to be another. I want the whole project to seem like it all completely goes together, and it totally does. You'll have to let me know down in the comments whether I nailed it or failed it. I personally think I nailed it. I did seal the piece up with 2 coats of my spray poly in a very warm satin. I did not want to have any type of a sheen on the top, really. I just kind of wanted to keep it a la natural, you know? And I'm very, very happy with how it came out. This was such a fun little project to do, and I can't wait for it to find its new little home. All right, guys, until next time, stay grounded, stay glowing, and always stay in your element. Bye, friends.